Welcome and thank you for tuning in. Rafael Nadal now stands atop the tennis world, the greatest of all time, at this moment in time, after coming back 2 sets down to defeat Daniil Medvedev in the 2022 Australian Open final. Nadal showed incredible grit and determination throughout this entire tournament. I thought in his quarterfinal match against Denis Shapovalov, Nadal would eventually break down and have to retire after blowing a 2-set lead in that match. He was in unbelievable pain. He was really struggling out there. And, before this tournament and the months leading up, Nadal had been pondering retirement. He's been dealing with a chronic foot injury that can only be managed and not cured. Nadal's pain tolerance is simply out of this world. And Nadal is at the point where nothing he does is unbelievable. Nadal is the first ever player in the Open era to come back 2 sets down to win the Australian Open. Just an incredible performance. So many long and agonizing points between Rafa and Medvedev. Medvedev being clearly the best player outside of the big three. But Medvedev looked a little bit shaky at the net at times. That's the one weakness in his game, in my opinion, is the way Daniil Medvedev positions himself at the net. His volleys are not at Rafa's level, and Nadal closed out the match at the net on championship point. Rafa has been a wonderful net player throughout his career. He closed out a lot of critical points in this tournament at the net, which is crucial for him to do at 35 years of age. Rafa had a chance to serve out the match in the 5th set, up 5-4, and blew it. But he still retained his composure. The fact that Medvedev was able to break to stay alive tells me that he never, by any means, choked this match away. Of course, blowing a 2-0 lead is massive. Stefanos Tsitsipas did the same thing last year against Novak Djokovic in the French Open final. But Rafa came back 2 sets down for the first time in his career in a slam since 2007. I think that says more about Rafa really never getting into those types of situations, or rarely doing so to the point where he just dominates the majority of his opponents. And with Rafa's Australian Open title, he now sits atop the all-time singles slam leaderboard with 21 titles. One more than Roger Federer, one more than Novak Djokovic. Roger Federer is not winning another slam. It's going to be either Rafa or Novak's Djokovic who finishes with the most slam titles ever when the two of them retire. But Rafa really got it done in just such an unbelievable way. Then again, I just said earlier that nothing Rafa does is unbelievable. A 5.5-hour match. Rafa has dealt with so much heartbreak at the Australian Open, losing to Federer in 5 sets in 2017, one of Federer's most memorable titles for him to win, the way he did in Australia, coming off of his knee injury, and then losing to Novak Djokovic in a 5-setter. That was one of the most epic slam matches of all time, with Djokovic just ripping his shirt open after the win. Rafa has dealt with so much heartbreak, which is why him sitting atop the slam leaderboard in this tournament, I think, makes his record all the more sweeter. He is an unbelievable competitor. All right, nothing that Rafa does as a player is unbelievable, but I think the pain that he can withstand is unbelievable, because we're talking about a player who, like I said, has been dealing with a chronic foot injury that can never be cured. His pain threshold is out of this world. He beat COVID-19 in December, right before the tournament. He's been through so many knee, ankle, even wrist injuries throughout his career. If he hadn't dealt with all those injuries, who knows how many slam titles he would have. But of course, with his playing style, he's a bull, he stampedes. You always wondered how much damage that would take on his body. Rafa is 35 years old now. Who knows how much he has in the tank, but I think Rafa was just playing with so much freedom out there. He considered himself lucky to be able to continue playing tennis. And what a joy it is to watch Rafael Nadal play tennis for all of us fans. And I know that Daniil Medvedev will be back in a big way for the rest of the season. Also, love watching Medvedev's game. I think he will continue to grow and win more titles on his own. And just a wonderful match. Rafael Nadal, like I said, coming out on top. He is the GOAT at this point in time. We'll see if Novak Djokovic does the right thing and gets vaccinated so he can play at the French Open, Wimbledon, etc. Because he's going to have to grow up to take on Rafa. Rafa is a champion on and off the court. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you've watched for this long, you might as well subscribe to my channel.